bureaucracy's basement to your ears, this is the weekly meeting of the Queen City Improvement Bureau. Each week, the dedicated staff of the Bureau meet to file reports, make recommendations, and survive on water that drips from the boiler pipes into our open mouths as we sleep on beds of dot matrix printer paper. Maybe one day we'll escape from the subterranean hell, or heck, that is this sub-basement, but until that day comes, the city is not going to improve itself. So, here we stay, improving things. This meeting is now in session.
Heyo!
Heyo!
How are you doing?
Oh, very well, my good sir.
Good. I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. What's up? Yeah.
Me barely.
You barely. Okay, me too. Good banter, huh?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
That's what people are here for.
yeah. Well, you know what? The reason our banter is not so great, we've had our banter budget cut.
Yep.
So-
and it's only going further down.
Yeah, a 20% cut in bon mots, witticisms, and no longer double entendres. We can only do single entendres now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.
And we're not going to be able to
See,
yes and anymore.
Yeah, we can only no but.
Yes.
We're just going to no but the whole thing.
Yeah, from now on.
That's not even that was not even a double or single entendre.
Yeah.
That was just some words we strung together out of scraps from a box.
No. But
Okay.
what we should do is attendance.
Oh, yes, we should. Now, fortunately, the budget cuts mean that we still have our jobs.
So far.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I think we've had to take a reduced pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that'll happen. So we're going from 0 to, I think we're losing 3 percentage points off nothing.
Oh, at least 3 percentage
At least.
points.
Wow.
Yeah.
How are we going to eat the mold on the walls now?
I don't know. But
But
we will
No, but-
keep eating it.
that's right. Okay. I'm Paul.
You're not.
I think I am. I think I would know who I am.
No, look at your name tag.
It's upside down.
Okay.
From where I'm
Well,
looking at
from
it.
where I'm sitting, you're Aidan Morgan.
Oh, you know what the problem was? I was looking at your name tag.
Oh, this keeps happening.
I know. One day, you know what we should do? We should switch name tags. And
You
then
keep
this whole
saying, Paul, come here, and then you think that you are Paul, and it's very confusing for me.
Yeah, and then I walk into a wall.
Yes.
Like, it's just crazy. Yeah. I'll stop doing that. All right, so you're the Paul, I'm the Aidan,
Yep,
and we're the Queen City Improvement Bureau.
we absolutely are.
And they're the guests.
We have
But
guests.
who are the guests?
We have Councillor David Froh from Ward 3. Hello, David.
Hello.
And we have Councillor Shanon Zachidniak from Ward 8.
Also known as Sky Morgan, Aidan's sister.
Yes.
Yes.
DJ Sky Morgan.
No relation, but sister.
Radio sister.
Yeah. Broadcast. Yeah.
We're radio
Broadcast
sisters.
sisters.
We're both sisters. Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming, guys, because there's been lots going on in the city, and a lot of people are up in arms about what's going on in the city. And I especially am up in arms.
But down in legs.
Down in legs, up in arms.
Exactly.
Yes. So, before we get into, everybody's here tuning in to hear you defend yourself on this budget.
That's Shannon's
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
I've
Defend
got.
yourself.
I'm also up in arms and legs. I don't know what
Wow.
that looks like, but all limbs are up.
Levitating.
Good.
Careful, because
I'm mad at it, too.
There's limited space and not great lighting here. We don't want to get, smacked.
Yeah. But, no, before we get into the budget, I want to talk to you about the Finding Middle Ground Design Competition, which has been run over the last few months. It was an effort by the Housing Department to get some innovative ideas on how to address the housing crisis that our city, like all cities, is facing. And shortly after our last meeting, the winners were announced. They had 4 categories. So there was the Osler, which is actually an apartment building. It won in Category 1, first place, and it was at 2107 Osler Street. It is this awesome row housing, like it's a series of 4 or 5 townhouses in the Heritage neighborhood.
Right. Okay.
They're awesome. They're small. They're like 2 bedrooms on the top floor, living area in the middle, and then there's a basement that you can fix up. So they kind of they're the ones that I feel like won it all because they didn't just like get first place, but they actually exist. There were other projects. There's like this Cathedral House project that won in Category 2 Lane Access Interior, which looks like a cathedral house from the front, but when you look at the floor plan, it's completely non-Euclidean. They somehow managed to fit 4 apartments into this tiny house, and they're all like intertwined, like they're having sex with each other. It's like a snake ball, but an apartment.
So who lives there? Like Cthulhu? Is this what?
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
They should put your description on their marketing materials.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
And last, in Category 4 Front Access Interior, this thing called the Pocket House, which is a very nice one. I note, though, that Category 3, no award was awarded, which is kind of insulting to me because it means that my idea was just like overlooked. It's like, butts to you, Paul. My idea to like
No buts.
do like a Basel Ukoma, superimpose another city on top of this city to like double the amount of housing we have.
Perfect.
Just ignored. Didn't even
just mesh the spaces.
exactly.
You said that's
not
Category
even
3?
I
Category believe 3. As the Ward 3 councillor, Dave was responsible for deciding the winner in Category 3.
I deemed him ineligible, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So you snubbed me specifically?
Yes.
Ouch.
And you're off the show. I mean, the meeting.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Kicked out.
Well, and you guys don't have a winner for Front Access Corner then.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You sounded very snarky when you said that. Very vindicated.
You guys don't have a winner.
Yeah, could have been me. But instead you get nothing. Okay. Next up. This
I'm
just
sorry.
happened. It's okay.
Okay.
This just happened yesterday at Council. Pour one out for the Credit Foncier building.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Heritage building on the plaza. Used to be the next door neighbor of the Novia building, the Gordon Block, which is no more. Also neighbors to the Burns-Hanley building. Also no more.
The burned.
Yep,
Hanley
the
building.
burned Hanley building. Yes.
Yeah. And so apparently there was, well, you guys would know better than I
I'm
do.
going to like that.
The Credit Foncier was so horribly damaged by that fire that the owners said we can't remediate it in a cost-effective way. So pour one out for them. You guys okay
Shannon
with
wanted
this?
to speak to that
I can speak
specifically.
to it.
She said on the way in that she wanted to.
I did, as I was pouring one out for them. I actually, in these sorts of situations, certainly prefer whatever we can do to save heritage buildings. This one, I mean, so I guess what's going to happen is they're going to carefully remove the facade and store the bricks for
Right
one
beside
day.
the Burns-Hanley building?
Yes, for one potential day in the future. But, I mean, because I was initially hoping that we could perhaps underpin the facade, and administration actually did a good job of clarifying what that would look like for an undetermined amount of time, and it wouldn't help revitalize downtown. And who knows how long we'd have this facade, what was it, like covered,
It would have been all wrapped
wrapped
up.
in.
wrapped
frame.
up. Yeah. So that was actually really helpful because I don't think that's what we want either. So,
I think the other thing is that the entire interior of the building effectively is done, right? And so it's a really and the owners, to their credit, these are not people that sort of wanted this to happen. These are not people that allowed that building to deteriorate. These are people that, through multiple generations, inherited that building and cared about it in the built history of the area. But you're talking about north of $1 million, and so I think if you're going to force someone to do that has no mechanism or means to develop the space, which these are elderly folks that have held it for generations. In practical sense, you'd be left with a wrap frame structure that would probably impede some of our overall sort of goals in the area when we're trying to have a sort of less parking lots and more development. But it's an absolute tragedy. It is really too bad.
And it stinks that it's a situation where the property owners that neighbor them on both sides, arguably, neglect demolition through neglect that led to their building having to come down. And so that's very tragic that an irresponsible, potentially property owner, has led to this cascade of damage to our downtown, and the Victoria Park Heritage Conservation District is running out of buildings to conserve at this rate. So okay, so pour one out for that. Last thing that I did want to ask you guys about, and Councillor Froh, you mentioned that you know a few things about this. The yards, you guys voted to go with a negotiated request for proposal based on a series of 7 criteria to define what the yards is going to be, pick a developer to develop the yards. Now that the Dudney Avenue, which by all accounts is awesome, is done.
It's looking good.
Yeah, well, I guess a couple things. I mean, I love the warehouse district. I lived there with my wife. I mean, I used to chair the warehouse bid board, and even back in the Fiacco days, we were talking about this. So I guess, for one, why now? Well, the intention always behind the Dudney work was in part to put in place the core infrastructure to allow the yards to develop. And how will we do it? I suspect Shanon and I agree upon this. You take the politics out of it. So you do an open, competitive, transparent process. And the way the process works is we go to the market. It could be a private sector developer. It could be an Indigenous nation. It could be a consortium. And we say, show us your vision. But that vision has to align with the neighborhood plan, which was done in 2020. It's one of the largest, sort of most comprehensive community engagements we've ever done that talks about a lot of things. But really at its core, to paraphrase, we want to see something that respects the built history. We want to see mixed use, so that means residential, it means commercial. It could include a myriad of other sort of community gathering places. But what's really critical is we don't do vertical development as a city, which means we don't build buildings typically. So we do the land development, and we use money from something called the Land Development Reserve. So we make money when we do land development, things like the towns. We use that money and cash flow to develop things like the yards. And really, what's great is it really shouldn't disturb the area anymore. There's enough access points to that 17.5 acres. And what we've done, Shanon and I and all of council, I believe it passed unanimously, was actually delegate authority to the professionals. So we approve the vision. The vision was built by community. We approve how we weigh the responses, effectively the procurement process and methodology, and then we get out of the way so we're not inadvertently effing it all up or getting sort of lobbied, right? So, but it's like a generational opportunity. And by the way, just in closing, there'll be some revenue that happens over many generations sort of there. But really what this is like public good. It's a generational opportunity to reimagine, a big part of the core of our area, but we shouldn't expect it to happen overnight, right? If some of the responses come back that aren't great, you might say no, or they might be awesome. So I guess we'll have to see a little bit.
I love how you said in closing in your comment.
In closing?
In closing.
Usually Shanon texts me. Shanon texts me and says,
closing.
"Now say in closing." That's when she wants me to stop talking. She just hit me.
Also,
you just hit me.
I did not. And also,
no.
Paul and Aiden, I think you can take notes, Paul, from your failed attempt with your submission for the housing competition. Put in your submission for the yards. Learn from what maybe didn't go well. Dave can give you his notes on why you got bad grades, and maybe you will be the developers for the yards.
Oh yeah, you want us to.
Yes.
And I propose statues.
I already have some ideas
of the two of you.
Ooh, of council members past.
No, that's not what I said. Of Dave Froh.
No.
Actually, my first idea unrelated to the yards is that, Dave, every time you start talking in council, you just start saying, well, in closing. And then
yeah. My second last question is, yeah, sure.
Shanon. Just about the yards.
Quite formal.
So we're going to get a baseball stadium, right?
Oh my God. Over my dead body we will. And I guess now that I said that, if the baseball stadium goes, I guess I'm offering myself up for sacrifice.
To make sure that it succeeds.
Right. You know what? I'm fine with a baseball stadium if the city doesn't have to pay a dime. Not a red penny. Because and why? Not because I hate baseball, but because we can't afford to be financing baseball stadiums at all right now.
And I'm raising that because that is a concern that the fix is in for the baseball stadium, because that's been in the media
right
for years now.
So I already would have brought a reconsideration motion and not like, again, if somebody wants to pay to put a baseball stadium in the city, great. But in terms of the city putting money into it, at this time, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I would have already done a reconsideration motion for that. But if it's still in there in the budget, there will be an opportunity to make an amendment to remove it from our wherever it is in our capital plan. And I think, I don't know, I can't predict the future, but in terms of like where it'll land with council. But I have heard from multiple other council members that now's not the time for us to be considering putting money into a baseball stadium.
Right. And so this negotiated request for proposal, it is going to have like a criteria document that has like the, I'm going to use the word, the matrix for how they decide what project development team to take.
I believe there's an 8th criteria as well. Criterion. It's called I Hate Baseball.
Okay.
Councillors David.
Well, and actually, to Shannon's point, though, we've delegated authority to administration for good reason, because that's best practice. They would have to come back to us if they wanted public dollars to do any vertical building. What's cool about this, though, is that because we own the land, we can do things like contract and architectural controls. Like, we actually have some ability, like any developer would, to make sure that it looks good and represents what folks want. And there's naturally some worry anytime something big happens.
Right. And one of the things that administration pointed out that I thought was interesting was that the development community they wanted this process because it would take the politics out of what is ultimately decided. So, depoliticize it.
So that probably means that your proposal won't win, because I would have supported it. But now I can't.
I don't really think it.
I'm hearing a lot.
I'm used to rejection.
We're hearing a lot of talk about depoliticizing things and working towards the public good and leaving it to professionals who know things. And I just have to say, you guys are just you're monsters. I can't believe I'm hearing actual sense out of this. So I only want ideologues on council. I want partisans, and I want lunatics. So
no, but
I will try to appease you.
Yes, thank you.
Throughout the rest of this show.
Yes.
We're on 91.3 FM, CJTR AccessNow Community Radio. We're the Queen City Improvement Bureau, and we're here with Councillors David Froh and Shanon Zachidniak. Who are making a disappointing amount of sense. Yeah. We want radio drama. We need to get our clicks up. We need more engagement, and we don't get that with civil discourse.
Have you heard about my rain tax? I was just trying to, up the ante, which, for the record, I never proposed. So thank you.
I don't know. I read it on Just Bins you had. Shanon and the rain tax. All right. Well, that segues.
It would be fun.
Okay.
To do a little bit of an experiment about how many of your viewers are also viewers of Just Bins.
Yeah.
I don't follow it.
I'm curious, actually, about the overlap.
Yeah.
I don't imagine it's huge.
Do we have the ability to do
You guys like Venn
polls?
diagrams? You should do a Venn diagram between, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Moving on.
Segueing now to the budget. Because budget is not even 2 weeks away now. It's a week and a half, isn't it?
God.
Yeah, just 8 days, something like that. Yeah, so it starts December 15th. And you guys are having to spackle over a $51.78 million funding gap. And to cover that at $3.3 million, roughly a mill rate increase for 1%, that would be 15.69% mill rate to cover that. I think people are a little alarmed and scared by these numbers. We've never seen a mill rate increase this big. Although I would note that includes the 2.2% for the police budget.
Good note.
And it includes the library, I do believe, and it includes all of the designated mill rate increases for staff. For the indoor aquatic facility, the water network expansion, development charge funded projects, intensification infrastructure reserve, and industrial development charge reduction reserve. And so really it's the administration is asking for a 10.5 if I'm doing the math right.
No. I mean, not your math is probably fine.
Okay.
Administration's actually not asking for anything. They just compiled information, and you see that in the recommendations where it says this in a more professional way. But here's all the information. You figure it out,
Here's
council.
592 pages. Enjoy yourself.
So if you can't even move, like there's not a recommendation for you to move, the recommendation is that council needs to figure out which mill rate increase we want to propose and which expenditure reductions we want to propose.
Right.
So it's very interesting. Like you were talking earlier about letting professionals do the job. Well, not with this budget, my friends.
But don't worry. No, but I think in fairness, and you've talked about this a lot, so we don't have to go through it again. I think the interest in the effort was to have a more transparent and participatory sort of opportunity this year, and it has created some anxiety and it has created some worry. And I was one of those, to be clear, that wanted to see all the information, because as we've seen, that even at a 9 or a 10% mill rate increase, you're still looking at millions and millions of cuts. And so for all the good people out there that are worried about your community centers and the wonderful community organizations that receive grants from the city, I actually believe, while I'm sorry that it's creating a lot of worry, I believe it's a really healthy exercise to talk about what's at risk. Mistakes can happen sometimes if you don't illustrate and rally the community around what's in the public interest. I think a lot of people in our community aren't probably aware of all the things the city funds and supports. And I actually think it's been a really lovely exercise to see people talk about all the things that they care about. Shannon's laughing because she doesn't care about.
Lovely. I would. Sorry.
No. Do you know what? Victoria Flores did a town hall tonight, and it was packed full of people that care really deeply. And I think maybe I'll reframe that a little bit. But and so for me, there's hundreds and hundreds of emails and calls going around.
Yeah.
That's democracy. That's civil society. And so my worry is if that didn't happen, because when you aggregate all those numbers, all these organizations that get it, then it's a big number, right?
Yeah.
Then you're looking at a big number, and there's a risk. And if you look at an aggregated number without the faces, the missions, the visions, the community impact sort of behind that. And so I think it's a really healthy exercise to say, okay, what kind of city do we want to be? What is the role of city government, but also what's at risk? Because if you don't have that conversation, even though it creates anxiety, you truly risk those things. We shouldn't take those things for granted, right? In my mind. So I was one of those. Of course, I was never going to support a -5 tax cut, and I'm prepared to pass whatever is necessary to be a viable, dynamic community. But I think it was really important to have that discussion. However, like my colleague, I was expecting to sort of receive this information a little differently, right? It's going to be a really tricky week.
Yeah.
And I would say, so I just found lovely to clearly be hilarious. I would say it's been
You hit me again.
I didn't. I would say it's been meaningful.
Roundhouse. Just
Wow. And I appreciate all the engagement from folks. But also, this new process where we're getting more information about the budget publicly is good. But there was a bit of miscommunication, at least from some of us on council, we're still expecting administration to come with a proposed budget that then council can make some changes to, some amendments to. And so we'll have to continue to refine this process. I think that I understand Dave's perspective, but I also think at the same time there's been a lot of alarm created at the city, and about things like closing. Well, I actually haven't heard enough folks concerned about closing a fire hall. People that's on the list. I've heard lots of folks talking about the Floral Conservatory, and as a result, a majority of council has publicly said, don't worry, the Floral Conservatory is safe. So unless folks change their mind, it seems to be safe.
Should be the best thing to ever happen to their campaign.
I've heard surprisingly few folks saying, please don't close the fire hall.
So that means the knives are out for the fire hall.
That's right.
I hope.
I
don't
see you
think so.
licking
Oh
your
no!
lips.
It's gonna be a bunch of buff guys in shirts wandering around no fires to put out. What are we gonna do? Become a gang? Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why people are not concerned. They're like, let's get the buff guys out in the shirts.
More calendars.
They can hang out at my house if there's no fire hall.
Wow. Okay, so fire halls gone, buff guys in.
I think the other part, though, that has been missed in all of this a little bit is the fact that it is a 2-year budget exercise, and I think I've said, others have said, over many years we've kept taxes artificially low.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
If we do it right, without gutting what makes Regina important and without gutting some of the things that will make us sort of viable moving forward, the reality is future years will be sustainable and manageable and predictable, and that's illustrated in the budget, right? In 2027, moving forward, it's not 3%, right? But I think that's it. And if we don't, right, we will relitigate this painful exercise every year forever, right?
We'll still do that, Dave.
Oh, I guess I'm still a rookie. I thought we could fix it and then move on.
Your third term, you'll be like, this is not lovely anymore.
Third term.
See, I see your political future. You're still there. You're still making change at City Hall.
Yeah, in the 2040s.
Notice how they did. They know that I won't be, so he's pretending that I'm sticking around.
Anyways, on that note, we should go to innovative revenue tools. Ooh. And you guys will be back for the second half, I assume, because we have lots more questions.
We do. Whittling.
And we're back from innovative revenue tools.
I'm whittling like that.
That's right. Shanon is learning how to whittle or mime whittling, and
her form is terrible. She's going to hurt herself.
That's right.
Whittle towards your body.
Yeah,
I was miming a whittler who was not taught properly and ends up in the hospital. That's and the fact that you didn't get that is insulting.
That's right. Now the studio is covered in mime blood. So terrible.
So you guys have put some context around this 15.69% mill rate increase. Still not making the joke.
We made the joke with the mayor last week.
What's the joke?
It's the point. It's the 0.69 part.
That joke's weak. It's last week.
If you have teen boys in your house, you would.
I have preteen boys, and so all I hear is 7, which means absolutely nothing.
Sarah Turnbull says the new line that all the kids are saying is fries in the bag, like if something's good.
Really?
Oh, I like that.
I've socialized that with my kids, but because I said it, they hate it now.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Fries in the bag.
It's great how you can kill culture as a parent, eh? Yeah. Superpower.
You should say that during the budget. Like when an amendment passes that you're
fries in the bag.
With the hands. You missed the sparkle or I don't know what you call that. But
jazz hands.
Jazz hands, okay.
And we can say, Clark, you want to look at some numbers? How about these? 6-7. 6-7.
Make some sense out of that.
You said it.
So have you guys heard anything from staff? Because one of the things that happened with this M13 is that it wasn't just residents who looked at it and saw their services being cut, but firefighters and other city staff people would be looking down that list going, that's my job, that's my department, that's this is the second year where significant cuts to operations and staffing are kind of being pondered as a philosophical exercise. And that has impacts. I mean, we're fine, but there's people upstairs who this is their livelihoods that's being kind of treated like a philosophical exercise.
Yeah, well, I think we in our first budget almost inadvertently, in an effort to cut the mill rate 1.5%, took away people's careers. Now, we didn't in the end, thankfully. We thought about it and came back with, not perfect, a better exercise. No, those are real people, and I think about that every single day, and I think Shanon can probably know more than I because you're more experienced. There is endless questions that get asked to councillors. Why don't you just cut staff? Right? And the reality is, since 2016, the budget package has a report that illustrates this. Actually, our staff at all levels, in scope and out of scope, in relation to our population, our economic growth, and the services we provide has been actually going down. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't always look to improve. The city is like any other organization. There are people every day that do great work, and there's some people probably that need an accountability partner, but that's life, right? So every cut, and in Appendix M13, most of those cuts have corresponding staff implications. And, of course, most staff implications have service implications, right? And so the reality is there is not like hundreds of people sitting around that sort of aren't doing something for the city. That does not mean we shouldn't work differently and better. And there has been, as you both well know, a lot of study and pen on paper on how to find efficiencies, right? But as a city, we do things every day that has different ways that we sort of measure what's in the public sort of good, right? So I mean, I'd ask sort of Shanon, you've been around many more budgets, but if I'm stressed about two things that keeps me up at night, it's one, people that are struggling to pay their bills in terms of what a large increase means. Sometimes I can rationalize that because I know a lot of the things we fund help vulnerable people in our community. Libraries are free, community centers can be free, right? But I do worry about the staff that are looking at that, and they're not a line item. They're a neighbor. They're a real human being.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And I think that's important that like city staff know that, you know, the council has got their back on this stuff.
But we like I do like they have you know, like does council collectively have their back? I don't know. You know, you saw what almost happened
last year this
time, and Dave, you were being charitable with the use of we because you didn't support that, and so, and neither did I, and and I mean, I think it is important to remember that like when you're looking for a budget reduction, you're looking for it it's if we were doing a 5% budget reduction, staff have to find ways that would be an ongoing reduction, right. And that's where it'll get to the point where you're cutting jobs just to make a certain mill rate reduction rather than doing it because you've done some sort of comprehensive or strategic analysis, and that's what should happen. And that's the way to make, if you want to, like, if we needed to make the city leaner, the way to do that would be through not just to save some money in the budget, but to do an analysis like an efficiency review,
core service review,
which
already
this is something we've done every few years.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing, like quite honestly, that I think that the good that will come out of this budget, and honestly, what I'd love to spend the next year doing is like, what do we want of our city government? We do a lot of things, and because we have a smaller population, I haven't seen in recent memory a conversation around, you know, do we want our city government to lead, be involved, partner, fund sports, culture, recreation, transit, utilities, houselessness, economic development? We can have that. What is the role of civil society, the private sector, right? And when you have that conversation, well, no one will always agree. Once you've had it, you can talk about the public good, what the private sector will and won't do, what other communities do. I think we can have it can be a really healthy exercise. But, you know, Shanon, I think the other thing, too, and I know you'll agree with this, is that when people talk about the city and they criticize city staff just because we're on this, like, there's a lot of people struggling in our community. People haven't been able to get a break for a long time, right? Your mortgage rates are up, rent is up, food is up, inflation kicked us in the ass. And so I think we got to give people grace a little bit, too, when they're looking at City Hall. There's just a lot of people in our community that are struggling, and they're not malicious. They're just quite literally struggling to pay the bills.
Right. I think one of the things that people are concerned about is like where are the cuts ultimately going to come from? Like they're looking at Appendix M13, and you know, a few people are even looking at the rest of the budget, and you know, wondering like how do we get the mill rate down? One of the things that I have heard is through those 5 days of pre-budget meetings that you guys had in the fall and at other points over the last year is there's been a lot of like sniffing around the transit budget. Oh. And I note that on top of the 15.69% mill rate increase, there is also like 2.7 something in extra enhancements Yeah, and a big line item there is $1.1 million to retain hybrid buses when you're like investing in the transit reserve, to not just get new diesel buses, but to get hybrid buses. That's going to cost another $1.1 million. Right. So Shanon, when you're looking at this, like I guess I'm asking you a multi-part question. Should we be concerned about transit just at the base level, and what about your hybrid buses?
Okay. So in relation to transit, I do think that I guess this is actually something I wanted to talk about, because in this list of, over how many 140 something? 130 something, 140, yeah. So in the notorious M13 appendix, there are certain items that have been, been highlighted, like the floral conservatory, which I said is now appears to be safe. So that's great. But I think that in that list of things, there are certain things that are more at risk. And I really think that transit is one of them. And so I suggest that for folks who are concerned, it would be a good idea to reach out to all of council or your councillor about what are the items that you particularly care about. You can still write us about the floral conservatory, but I do think it's safe. And so what are some other items that are important to you that the city does? Because it doesn't even have to be on this list. Anything is up for grabs when we're trying to get to lower the mill rate. So is it transit, which I've heard lots of discussion. There's multiple folks on council who, probably none of us use transit regularly. Like there are times when I actually use it to go from my house to City Hall because it's very convenient. It is like most convenient, generally speaking, to get downtown with transit, right? Yeah. So, because we don't rely on it regularly, some folks overlook the value of transit and assume that if I don't ride the bus and I don't know people who ride the bus, like, are they actually important? Are they well utilized? The answer is yes, they are actually well utilized. And in comparison to many other transit systems, our ridership numbers are doing really well. And how that will continue, how we will continue to invest in our city and grow our city and have a thriving city where newcomers want to come to, where young people want to stay in, is if we continue to invest in transit. So I think that is the wrong place to look for cuts. And I hope that others who feel that way will reach out to council and their councillors to say the same thing. There's some other areas I wanted to flag. I don't know if I should do that now or wait, because I don't think I answered all parts of your multi-point question.
Are you willing to compromise on the hybrid? Or are you going to,
Well, I feel like you are highlighting hybrid. Like, I don't know who's listening, Paul, but if hybrid buses end up on the chopping block, I think it's your fault now.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah. So thanks for that.
Paul hates hybrid.
Do you want to know something interesting?
Diesel exhaust is my fault.
M13.
Yeah.
M13 is a very notorious gang from Los Angeles.
It is.
No, it's very, very notorious, and they are notorious for several things. But they're known for using fear and extreme brutality, often with machetes. And of course, 13 is the 13th letter in the alphabet.
How did you know this? What?
I Googled it while you were talking. M13, they often use machetes and fear and intimidation, which is ironic given that we have Appendix 13. But please continue.
You just
what do you want to cut again?
You just happened to Google M13 while we were talking. Is this what you always do when I'm talking, Dave? You're just like Googling random
M13
stuff.
See, what happens
Sorry, what else did you want to cut?
The version of M13 here is a bunch of buff firefighters going around with...
I feel like David has just created a new conspiracy theory.
Yes.
It's a gang that's coming for your budget.
Yep.
And your transit.
That's right.
Can I do my other
What else did you want to flag?
Well, you mentioned the police budget. So when we look at this list on M13, it does talk about
we need the police to fight M13.
Potential partner budget.
These unemployed firefighters.
not mentioned in the list of potential partner organizations. Police aren't on there. The police have the largest share of our budget. And if we are asking, if we've, last budget, we reduced some budgets on the floor of council. We don't have that ability with the police budget. I don't think it's ever been sent back. Nope. And unfortunately, that's the only way we can interact with it. We either pass it or don't. But regardless of how this happens, whether it happens before the budget or during the budget, if we're looking for folks to reduce expenses, everyone is fair game, including the police. So why they're not on that list but at the same time we're going to close the fire hall and cancel City Hall Christmas, but somehow the police aren't, considered for reductions in expenditures is interesting and honestly like status quo of what we've had at the city.
I also think it's practical in the sense that 86% of the police budget is their officers, and they have collective bargaining that illustrates what they're so while the police budget at $131 million is sort of roughly 18% of the city budget, I think probably we're sort of in the short term, it's like what can we actually do? To your point though, I don't recall in recent memory a comprehensive review of the police budget, which would require the police commissioners to do that, because not unlike we expect Rio of the library to not operate as an island, but to be a part of the community and reinforce our broader strategic objectives, it's probably fair to ask the police to sort of to do that too.
Well, and that's what, and so whether they do that prior to the budget deliberations or we potentially for the first time in history say, actually, we want a leaner budget. It doesn't have to be this big controversial thing. It's like we're all making budget reductions.
Yeah. What's interesting too, Shannon, like if you look at the crime severity index since 2015 in relation to the police budget, and while the police budget has stayed roughly around 20%, our budget has risen. Like their budget has almost doubled since 2016. Like it was $72 million then, right? So it is in par per capita with Saskatoon and other communities. It is reasonably around 20%. But if you look at how our budget has grown as a city, like it does require some serious thought. I think it's a fair point by my colleague.
And there's two other things. I'm going to say them anyway, even if you don't want me to. Which is...
I did have a question though about the police budget.
Okay, yeah, sure.
One thing that comes up every year is that you can't, and you've just said it twice, you can't do anything to the police budget once it gets to the floor of council during budget time. I have never, why isn't the police budget process a bigger public deal? Right? Like, you guys have gone through 5 days already of budget stuff. You're going to go through 5 or more. And so the budget is like a big hand-wringing exercise for the city. The police kind of do it on their own, and then they just drop it in your lap. Why isn't there a bigger rigmarole?
So I think my understanding is that those meetings are open to the public.
Oh, okay.
Just people don't, and so it's a fair point, and maybe not widely known, and perhaps it would be a good venue for folks to go because people regularly come to us with their concerns about the police budget. Perhaps before it gets to that stage, like while the budget is being made through the Board of Police Commissioners, I've never been on that board, so I don't know exactly how it works, but it is my understanding that those are public meetings, and so maybe there should be more engagement on that level.
Cool. Okay, we're on 91.3 FM CJTR Access Now Community Radio. We're the Queen City Improvement Bureau with Councillors Froh and Zachidniak.
Why do you always say his name first?
Because he's on my left.
He's
direction I read.
Yeah, and it's 3. It's lower than 8.
Whatever. I'm here with Aiden and Paul. How does that feel? Yeah, exactly.
I like
you
that.
You didn't even say my name.
Oh, and Dave.
I had an idea.
Okay.
While we were talking about a great way to for the benefit of the library, we actually make them part of the police. Oh. So we get all that police budget, and the police
That's
can staff the downtown libraries.
Well, so
and
this there's more.
There's
more.
There's always more. In closing. Anyway, instead of police vehicles and the crime plane, they go around in bookmobiles. so they can fight crime and check out books.
And
I
new
like
Chief
this idea.
Laura Lee Davies, who's lovely.
There we go.
They're 2 times in one night. You know what? The police believe, I think they really do. I think they understand that, more police doesn't correlate or have any causation to reduce crime. Like, there is no evidence to suggest that. I think they believe in upstream solutions, right? I think they're put in a really difficult spot, and I think they work really hard and they care about their neighbors. And the police, just like anything else we do, aren't perfect. But when you talk to Chief Davies and you talk to police officers, there isn't a single one of them that thinks that extra policing will affect sort of the root causes of crime, poverty, addiction, or mental health, right? So, I think we have to have hard conversations about the police budget, but we have to have that conversation within the context of all these upstream solutions that we ignore every single day, and which, frustratingly, the city has fewer levers to pull than other levels of government, right?
Yeah. And I think one of the catch-22s that you guys are in is that I think there's this expectation that you wouldn't reduce the number of police while you're instituting social programs that address the root causes of crime, right? That you would keep the police and start you'd raise one budget and at the same time you'd have that budget.
We have no mechanism to reduce police officers.
Right.
Frankly, you can't get into the line items of the budget, as you know far better than I, right?
Yeah. But, I don't know about that. But a lot of the benefit, a large portion of the benefit that would accrue from, addressing the root causes of crime, that benefit ends up in the pockets of the province, right? Like, it's healthcare, social services. These are things that, that's like the province's bailiwick. So you guys don't get a sort of fiscal benefit. There's no efficiency, no saving that comes from fixing
property
crime.
taxes should be completely eliminated, right? We have $18 billion in economic output as a city. Yeah. Same thing if we put in money to host sort of the Briar or the Grey Cup. All the liquor tax, PSD, GST goes to the province. When the economy grows, they get more corporate and personal income tax. The price of oil goes up. They get that. We don't. Property tax, aside from being regressive, is a wholly inefficient and inadequate tool to run a city anymore. Yeah. So we have 70% of the province's infrastructure. 89% of population growth happens in 4 urban centers. The vast majority of job creation. There's immense benefit to the province. We have really, really insufficient tools to run a city. We do a lot of things that benefits the federal and provincial government, and great. We're part of a province and a country, but I think that has to be acknowledged.
Okay, just alternate solution. Instead of getting rid of property tax, get rid of the province. You guys could just take.
Do you mean become
just
Alberta?
Take it over, man. Yeah.
Just Shanon, did you say you wanted to join Alberta?
Oh my God.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
I thought you just said that.
I want to join Alberta and I hate baseball. I'm Councillors David.
I, for the record, used to play softball, and I wasn't very good, but I did play, and so clearly I love baseball. I just want to clear that up now.
I agree with you. I am also not against a baseball stadium. I'm against public dollars into a baseball stadium.
I have my 2 other plugs that I wanted to make in the budget. So you mentioned the library. Mm-hmm. I think folks should remember that every year we have to recommit to this dedicated mill rate increase for the library. It was just approved in principle. So now that we are gone down this path of saying, yes, we're committed to central library renewal, I think we should see that through. And so, and I'd say that's something else that could be at risk. So this 5.5% dedicated mill rate, now that we've started doing it, we'd better keep doing it. So, library supporters, listen up. And I would say the same thing, of course I would, for environmental and climate initiatives. But for the record, many, and there's one of them that is on the list, and which is energy efficiency upgrades, which are things that have operational savings. So this is something that I feel like I've said multiple times. A lot of these environmental investments pay back. They create operational efficiencies. Don't we all like efficiencies? And they pay for themselves. And so it's a wise investment. Do we like wise investments?
Do I get to make a plug? You said I wasn't allowed to make any plugs, and you came with 4.
Only if they are aligned with what I believe.
Your plugs? Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. We're generally aligned.
Dave, what are your plugs?
Well, I think my first plug is to create some good out of a hard budget, which is mean do it right, so future budgets are predictable and manageable. But two, I honestly believe that if we don't have a conversation about the role of city government, we're going to relitigate this every single year, and I think that can be a really healthy exercise. I don't have a lot of plugs because I think actually we have to do the hard things, which in many cases can be taking this one on the chin a little bit, because if in an effort to save $10-15 for the average household a month, as an example, we will make Regina unlivable. And like, quite honestly, and the only plug I have is that if you look at any great city, they have quality of life assets. They try to take care of their most vulnerable. They have good public transit, Shannon, right? But they're a place that people want to live. And if you allow your city to become not livable, it won't be. Mm-hmm. Saying that, I do also think we have to look at our revenue levers, and they're not going to fix the budget overnight. So several years ago, the downtown used to sort of account for roughly 14% of our tax base. Now it's under 10. And so my dad ran and owned restaurants growing up, and he said, polish the knives, Dave. Polish the knives, clean the bathrooms. We've got to polish the knives in the downtown. We've put in generational infrastructure, but if we plant flowers and don't water them, or we allow the trees to die, or the sidewalks crumble, right, you're not polishing the knives. And so I think we have to activate the space. We have to, of course, focus on sort of safety. We want an injection of capital and confidence, but we got to polish the knives, right? We got to support arts and culture and festivals. But there is an enhancement in the budget, actually, that we'll talk about, like enhanced cleaning and enhanced sort of support for festivals and enhanced taking care of the really small things that make a community beautiful and inviting. And I have yet to go to a new city ever and say, let's go check out that coffee shop on the suburbs. Downtown, it's not just the heart of the city. Like, downtowns reflect where your city's going, and our city's in transition, so is the downtown. But if we ignore it, like, we're not just ignoring the heart of the city, we're like ignoring a revenue lever. So I think whether it's infill development, land development, or the downtown, like, please God, let's look at some of the things that allow us to make money and save money. That was my plug. I didn't even come with a plug because you said I couldn't.
For the record, I do not hit Dave, nor tell him what he can or cannot say in meetings. But I've learned that his dad is a volunteer firefighter who owns restaurants.
My dad's dead, actually. Thanks for
Well, may he rest in peace. And is not the whittler who builds log cabins.
It's my stepdad.
Okay, but just so you know, there's some.
And I love you. And by the way, I like your plugs.
Okay.
They were great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, where are we now? What do you guys think? We've just got a few minutes here. We still have not resolved whether or not.
I have another idea.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, let's hear it.
So, well, you remember earlier on in the meeting when I said we could combine the police with the libraries?
Yeah.
Well, what if the bookmobiles that were also driven by police were public transit hybrid buses?
That's actually not a bad idea.
What if we combine the wards?
Actually, not a bad idea.
I like Shannon. We could reduce the wards in half, and we could share a ward.
And then
Ward 38.
Yeah, so you will take on being the counselor for both wards.
No, you can do it.
I was working on my retirement plan.
Anyway, the one downside of my idea, as I was going to say, is that all the crimes being fought would have to be on public transit routes.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But
if we make the whole city a public transit route,
right?
Yeah.
Then police can...
We would have, people would be incentivized to expand public transit so that we could stop crime.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
And borrow books and whatnot.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
You can sell, your old Xbox games at the police station now. So, right? I think
I'm starting to worry that the police aren't doing enough work.
No, I think isn't there not a place that you can sort of do Facebook Marketplace there? So you're on
really?
something.
Bring us your video game consoles.
Spot.
We've got to fight crime. We've got 2 minutes. So what are the odds that we're going to get a 15.69% mill rate increase? Do you think we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off, eat the whole thing? Shannon?
That's not going to happen. That's my prediction for the future.
Isn't there a party that just kind of wants to, though? Just do it.
Well, I already publicly committed and this was at I had a North Central Community Forum, and so the Community Association did. So I was one of the folks there, and I publicly committed to folks there that I would not support a double-digit mill rate increase. And if I did not represent our most marginalized neighborhood, I could perhaps, there's a reason they said 15.69%, and it's because we have underfunded our needs as a municipality for a long time. And so it's not a made-up number. It's actually the case that is what would be needed for optimal service levels. So there is a rationale to go ahead with it. Because I because I represent North Central, I couldn't actually, unfortunately, in good conscience, say, what is the amount of a mill rate that our most marginalized community members can absorb? I don't know, right? So, but it's a important decision to weigh carefully. And for those who think that renters don't pay the mill rate, of course, those costs get passed down as part of your rental, as part of the rent that you pay. So we all pay the mill rate one way or another. And aside from that, these are real numbers based on what the city needs. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a difficult budget deliberation, week, month, year, however long it goes.
Councillor Froh, in closing.
Yeah, in
closing,
got
30 seconds.
I will absolutely vote for whatever's in the best interest of the city. Run away from politicians who try to be popular. That's never been Shanon. She's thinking carefully about her community. But as I know, Shanon, I would agree upon, whether it's transit, whether it's the things we fund like REACH and the Regina Food Bank, whether it's our culture and recreation. Many of these cuts will affect the most vulnerable in our community the most. I certainly won't support them. I know Shanon won't. My preference is to take it on the chin, find efficiencies where we can, be accountability partners where we need to be, but then reset moving forward, which includes saying no sometimes. And I absolutely am in favor of things moving forward, like a core service review and having discussion on the role of city government. I'm prepared to pass whatever I believe is in the best interest of the city, even if that's over a double-digit mill rate increase.
Wow.
Can we be accountability partners, Dave? You and I?
Well, you are Ward 38. I think I just resigned.
Oh, my God. You heard it here first, folks. On that note, we are out of time.
Okay, I move to adjourn.
I second that motion.
Motion is carried. You've been listening to the Queen City Improvement Bureau on 91.3 FM CJTR. Access Now Community Radio. Tune into the community. Our guests tonight are... baseball hater Shanon Zachidniak and knife polisher Dave Froh. Thanks very much.
Firefighter lover.
Okay.
I'm
the firefighter lover, clearly.
I love firefighters, for the record.
Everybody loves firefighters. We all know that. We're broadcast live. I wish we weren't broadcast live sometimes on Thursday evenings and rebroadcast Monday afternoons 3 to 4 p.m. You can find us on CJTR or AccessNowRadio.ca, and also, of course, on our website, QueenCityRadio.com. Coming up next, there's music and shows, and I don't know what they are right now.
I thought I was going to get to do my plugs.
You can do your plugs.
No time for plugs.
No time for plugs. All right. That's it. Keep on improving, Regina.